Today I will be showing you how I make tuna wonton tacos. My boss went on a fishing trip and brought me back this beautiful piece of tuna. It was very fresh and it was beautiful. Of course, I had to slice it up and I shared some with my family, but not before I tried some things. So I got my piece and I'm going to slice it and dice it. Everybody likes their tuna to be a different size. Honestly, I've had tuna any kind of way and I'll eat it any kind of way. I haven't decided exactly what size I want my tuna yet, so I'm going to leave it big and then I'm going to kind of like size it down later if I decide to. This tuna was kind of fat, so after I cut it up, I kind of peeled some of those little fat strings that were on there off, separated those pieces until I got all the nice pretty pieces. And I decided I wanted them just a little smaller, so I just kind of minced it out just a little bit more. And to preserve this while I prep everything else, I'm just going to scoop this over into a little bowl. And I'm going to place ice in a larger bowl, and I'm going to place this over it. If you're going to cook it right away, you don't necessarily have to cover it up with saran wrap and do the whole refrigerator thing. But if you're prepping this and you're not going to make it for a while, I would not recommend leaving it out. I would wrap it up and put it in the fridge till you're ready. Next, I'm going to prep me some green onions. I personally love green onions in my spicy tuna, which I'm going to show you guys how I make in a little bit. It's a preference, and I'm also using it as kind of like a garnish too, so this is optional. Once you have that prepped, you're going to get you a pot of oil. I should have went with more oil to have more of a deep fry, but I underestimated this, so I went as deep as I thought I needed. You're going to bring this to a medium kind of heat. You don't need the fire too high, so go ahead and prep everything else. These were the wonton wrappers that I got. They're the super thin kind from the Asian market. And to get the taco shell kind of feel, I took a top of a large mason and I just kind of placed it on there and used it as almost like a stencil. And then, of course, I had to just go behind and make it like a perfect little circle because it wasn't clean enough for me. Once you have your nice little circles, you're going to take a sheet of foil. I did about the size of like maybe a Pyrex. And I'm going to slice it into these strips. And then I got creative and I just decided I'm going to roll these because this is what's going to give us that taco shape to the wontons. I don't know where I got this idea. I think I might have seen it somewhere. Maybe it was my imagination. I don't know. I had to think of something. So I did a couple of these because I assumed this would be trial and error, so I might have had to try a couple different things. And because we're working with hot oil, we don't have time to just waste folding foil. Next, I'm going to kind of prep the fish. So for my tacos, I decided to do two different types. I'm going to show you guys how I make my spicy tuna, and then I'm going to do just regular tuna. So I'm going to separate them as evenly as I can. Again, if you're not going to use this right away, cover that up, put that in the fridge, and go ahead and make the spicy tuna. First things first, you're going to get some Kewpie. You don't have to use a lot because this isn't a lot of tuna, but again, preference. So if you like Kewpie, you can use more. And some Sriracha, again, preference. If you want it more spicy, if you want it more saucy, just put more Sriracha. And then my little fave is green onions. You want to mix this until it's completely lathered with each little piece of tuna. We did kind of cut it finely a little bit, so I'm just going to make sure that it's mixed up really well. After some mixing, I'll come back to it later if I feel like it needs a little bit more, but that's what it came out looking like. And then we're going to move on to our shells. So I kind of took the wonton wrapper, held it at the bottom, and I'm using my tongs to kind of hold it into place. And then you're just going to kind of place it in the oil, and then it's going to kind of expand a little bit and grip the foil. Then you're just going to push it a little further. And this is what I meant when I said I probably should have used just a little bit more oil to get it completely under the fire. To me, you really only need about a minute because the wontons cook very fast and you don't want to burn them. Make sure you strain out the oil because the oil does get into that foil. And if you're going to pull it out and you can burn yourself. And then I'm going to repeat that a couple times. And of course, each foil wasn't rolled perfectly, like the same exact size, same exact way. So each shell kind of came out a little unique, as you can kind of see as they were going in. Some of them, when I went to go open them, broke, but that's why we made multiples. And this is why I call it trial and error. Once you have all your shells, you're going to place them in the shells, and you can top with either green onions or jalapenos. I add a little avocado to my other tuna just to kind of give it a little kick. And I also dipped it with some wasabi and soy sauce. And guys, this came out so good. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more recipes like this.